I am about to make a huge mess. This funny looking thing, this was all compressed into a tight coil when I bought it. I'm thinking the person who assembled this took this out of a coil bound notebook and then threaded all these beads on it. And I got it at a thrift store. And when I got it, I thought, oh, there's got to be some pearl buttons on there. I don't think they are. I think they're all sort of mismatched plastic buttons from shirts and such. So it's been sitting on my table for a while. And I thought, I gotta either use it or lose it, to coin an oft-used phrase. I'm going to move those white buttons because I'm pretty sure none of them are going to be of any use to me. But I'm going to just cut that there and it's like, it's kind of like that, you know, those toddler toys that have the beads. Okay, there's half of it done. Oh, there's some pink ones that I like. Is that it for pink? What a ripoff. Okay. Move you guys over. And I'm going to do some projects that involve, ooh, I like you, that involve some buttons. So I've got this old embroidered doily. It has holes in it. It's got some stains. And I'm going to make a tag slash hidden paperclip thing. So the first thing I want to do is figure out where I put my ruler. And I'm going to cut this. It's not the embroidered bits that I want. It's a long piece like that. Set that aside because for sure I can use some other parts of it. Turn you around. Okay, how wide are you? So I think I can get 4 of these. So that's almost 2 inches wide. And it is just about 11 inches long. Okay. Now I'm going to get some cardstock or some file folder or something like that. All right, next step. I'm taking some fabric and I just want pale. So I've chosen this one. I'm going to use this one and I'm going to do a little bit of this one. So you can just use some strips and scraps that you have. You're going to want your fabric to be about 5 or 6 inches long and at least a couple inches wide. Like, not a couple, but just string there. A good 1.5 inches anyway. Something's under there. Oh, some little threads. Okay, I'm going to give those a minute. In the meantime, look at that beautiful hunk. Put that there. I might use that for something later. All right. So I have my little paper clippies here. I am going to glue the flat side. Pins at the top. Now I'm going to lay this part down. And let the lacy crocheted edge hang over. Okay. Now, while we're letting that fabric dry, I used my sewing machine without any thread in it and just sewed a line of stitches around. I made a fairly wide stitch length, I think a 4.0. And when I went across this bit here with the paper clip, I hand cranked because I didn't want to break off a needle. So I've got a very long length of one strand of embroidery thread, folded it in half to make a loop here at the end so that we don't have any knots on the back. So I'm pulling it through, passing my needle through the loop. Okay. Now, going forward, I'm going to go down the hole and up through the loop that's formed. Down the hole. So that's how I'm using my thread to make a blanket stitch. Let me do a few more stitches. Now, when I did those postcards with the vintage embroidery a couple weeks ago? Not a couple weeks ago. Could have been a couple weeks ago. Time goes very quickly these days, it seems. I gave you some tips and tricks about how to start and end your thread. So if you need some more hints about how to do that. Now I'm using a sort of an off-white thread, but if you wanted to use color, absolutely. You might want to match to the fabric that you're going to add to the top. You might want to match the buttons that are going to go on. So let's see what that looks like. I don't need to stitch this whole thing on camera. You've seen it. I will finish it and oops, missed that loop. And we'll be able to move on to the next piece. Next up, we have two options here. So I cut a strip of the fabric and did the blanket stitching around that piece of fabric. This one I used pinking shears and cut around it. So either one is fine. I think I actually like the pinked one better. And I have so far found 3 shell buttons. So what I want to do is I'm going to put a row of buttons here. I'm going to swap out these little ones. So no two are the same, I don't think anyway. Gonna glue them down. This fits a little wonky. Not a big deal. And for sure I could have chosen colored buttons. I'm gonna go with that one. Yeah. Just gonna grab my mouse pad and big corsage pin. I'll poke these holes. Now, do I have a needle and thread somewhere? And the holes are already popped for you. It does not take long at all to stitch buttons on. Unless you're blind as a bat like I am. I'm thinking now I could have done a running stitch around the edge. Maybe I'll do that on the next one. Come here, needle. Nice little project to use up scraps of fabric and grungy old vintage linens, mismatched buttons. Still don't want knots on the back because that could show through on the front. So good that tape that I just overhung. Going forward, this coming week, I'm going to do some more projects with the leftovers of this particular vintage doily. I think we'll do some tuck spots and pockets. There we go. This could be a bookmark. I could even put a ribbon. Just looking to see what I have handy. Yeah, this would need to be ironed because it's a little wonky. Oh, this came from a tag, a clothing tag. So I'm just putting that underneath that paper clip. Cool, huh? I still might do a ribbon, but I just wanted to demonstrate that you have the ability to make use of that. Okay, I'm going to go and spend some time finishing up the other three, and then I will come back and show you what I made and pop one into the book of ideas. And here they are, all done. So I've got one that's I've stitched around and one that was cut with pinking shears. Both I used some raggedy vintage seam binding to add a bow to the top. This one I used some gray buttons instead of ivory or clear or white, just to do something a little different. This one I used shell buttons, mother of pearl buttons, and I stitched the outside with a color. So I used a pale green to sort of match the polka dots, and then added a seam binding bow at the top. So that was a good project. Just deciding which one I think I'm going to put the green one in my book. And what are we going to call this? So it's a hidden paper clip. So I used a vintage linen, scrap of fabric, shell buttons, and seam binding. Okay, well, I hope you thought this was sort of a fun project, and maybe you'll take a look in your scrap box and see what you have there that you could use to make something like this. And good thing is, on the other side, I can tuck something up under there, eh? All right, you take care. We will come back again with another project. I want to use up that whole doily. I still have these 2 parts to go. So take care. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.